Okie dokie. Right, so we are a little bit of a solo adventure. For one very interesting themed character. Uh, we pay no attention to the present map because I couldn't find a decent one for a mansion that I liked. Um, so you start off in the home of your owner, an eccentric old lady who lives alone with her animal collection. The mansion you guys live in is on the outskirts of a major city, which is surrounded by a dense yet dying forest. Anything you would like to do as your standard self?
I would like, as my action, to do the thing that ferrets are known for: sleep.
You just sat in front of this old lady taking a nap in front of the fire. The mansion itself is very heavily run down. It's literally a case of you, your owner, and what you may consider in your present state your siblings. Um,
Are they all ferrets,
they
or
are
am I
not all
collecting
ferrets.
them? Oh,
She's a eccentric old lady that goes after some pseudo rare, some standard. In the lounge slash sitting area that you'll presently exist in one corner there is presently a rather noisy parrot that is going off. Um, if you weren't asleep, you'd notice that the old lady is getting slightly irritated, which is at the point that she picks up a little collar and lead off the table next to her and puts it around your neck and literally goes, "Come on, dearie, we're going for a walk."
just start flopping about, like following her, but it's like quietly like noodling along, flopping around.
Oh, just to state as well, while you are not in your form to come up, under the extras on your sheet, I did actually find stats for a ferret. So those are your stats.
What extras? Where's extras?
So
Oh,
depend.
there.
Yeah, so there is stats. It literally lists as
Ah,
ferret original stats.
interesting.
Um,
You know what's funny about this?
what?
When I awaken, I lose dexterity.
Yeah, I noticed. I was gonna message you and be like, "Oh, we might want to adjust those stats because of the, because of finding this." Um,
Also, the different picture of the fur at the bottom is adorable.
yeah, I thought you'd like that one. That's why I chose this one.
Okay,
So,
okay.
you,
No, I'd say the reason my stats are this way is because when I go into kaiju form, my strength and dex are replaced with my wisdom.
yeah, right. So, as you as you are out on this walk, your owner encounters a hooded being.
The fur, the fur has disadvantage on charisma to dex.
They're too
Sorry.
adorable. Might add that. I might add that one to your actual class, and the attacks of
It
opportunity one. To be fair,
attacks ability against me when it leaves enemy reach. I made it, or or could just do key to hearing and spell.
might just add all three. You just unlock your other traits from being awoken. So, as you're out on this walk, she encounters a hooded being that, in this state, you can understand some bits, but you also witness certain parts. So this hooded creature actually offers your owner quite a bit of gold in return for you.
While this is happening, until like my name is said, because I assume, even though I can't understand common at this point, I can still understand my name, or like the inclination of my name.
Yeah.
It's just still a ferret with too much energy at the moment, just flopping about in the ground. It's like going writhing all over the place, having like a whale time, and then they say my name, and you know the meme of the gopher, like dun dun dun. That just happens as I look at them.
So the hooded figure offers your owner money for you, but your owner refuses. You are her precious little fluff ball, and she is not willing to part with you.
Hug owner.
The walk continues for a little bit more.
Still hugging owner, by the way. As
Um,
now as she's walking, I am just gripped onto her leg or her cane.
ferret on a stick. Anybody want ferret on a stick? Eventually the walk ends and you end up headed back towards the mansion. Upon entering the mansion and returning to the lounge, your owner starts looking around, looking at the state of the building, looking at what her life is right now, and unfortunately does have that thought of, I could actually use that money.
She's like, I could really use that money. Ah, damn, that was a lot of money. Look, ferret, it's inside ferret's mind. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, together.
Um, they a few days go by, and she's had a lot of time to think. And you don't realise at first, but while you're napping in front of the fireplace, you've been slipped into a cage. When you awake, it is pitch black. There is a cloth over this cage. And then a few moments later, you hear voices. You hear the voice of your owner. You hear the voice of what you recall to be the hooded figure.
Just from the cage, very like loud. Distress ferret noises.
Within a few seconds, you feel the cage move again as you're handed over, and you hear a nice pouch of coin handed to your owner. Then you hear the door close, and you feel the cage move as you're being carried away. After about 10-15 minutes, the cloth gets removed from your cage, blinding you slightly as it is daylight outside. And then you feel a slight weird sensation, as now you can comprehend exactly what this being is saying. And the first thing they say is, I wish for your help, little one. You are going to help me get revenge on a great many people. But to do so, you must advance quickly. You notice that as she's saying this, you're walking more towards the dying forest. She takes you into the forest. After about 40-minute walk,
still in the cage at this
You
point?
you are still presently in the cage. After a 40-minute walk, you enter into a clearing, where she sets down the cage and opens the cage. She drops
I
her.
bite her finger.
Roll me an attack. So
Is this like is this gonna be like a bad time? Is this just like fuck you? D20. Do I do it with my new stats or old stats?
old stats, so we're using the ferret original stats first.
So it's
A +5 to hit.
what do you say?
It's a +5 to hit with your bite attack. With that ferret's bite attack.
Oh. Oh. That's a 10.
I have to remember what her it's got a load because it's an actual character sheet. That actually fucking hits. Because I haven't, I didn't, I made everything up, but I didn't give her a bunch of equipment, so she's absolutely like bare bones. Only has spells and whatnot.
She takes 1 damage.
So she takes that 1 note of damage, and looks at you with the look of, I understand that you've been taken from from your home to a slightly less familiar place.
Maybe I deserve this.
But as she takes the hood down, you get to see what she looks like. She has very pale grey skin that is also cracked and looks like barren earth. She's got markings on her that represent her tribe, and she looks straight at you and goes, "I am Maritha. I want to save this world. Will you help me, little one?"
To me at this point, I don't actually know I can talk. Do I even know the language? I know I can understand but now. But does that mean I can talk?
So effectively you can't talk, but any noises you make, she will understand as if you're talking. Because she casts speak with animals on you. On herself. So you can understand her and she can understand you.
It's like still like dangling from on her finger. As it's just like wiggles anger, saying, "You took me from behind. You took me from behind. Now, why? I miss my friends. I miss my friends. Why?"
I'm sorry, little one. I didn't mean to upset you. I just thought you'd be the perfect helper for what I have in mind.
Why did you get rid of me? I'm not good friend.
She loved you dearly. It did take her several days to agree to my offer. I will give you just as good of a life as she did, maybe without the collar.
You see the ferret that's like hanging from the finger, so eyes gone big and wide. It's just like sad, but okay.
Now, I have to ask again because I do not wish to do this against your will. Are you willing to help me?
Yeah.
As you agree to help her, she sets you down on the ground, and you see her hands start to crackle with energy from
Ferret's fur like pulls up a slightly scared.
Well, to be fair, with the sort of spells that she wields, it would be a similarish. It would look similar to lightning energy with a few more natural tones. So where it's not the crackling blues or bright whites, it's got a greenish hue to it. She kneels down, looks at you and once again says, "Are you sure? Do you wish to help me?"
Guys. But it's still very sad.
She places her hands upon you, and you feel this surge of energy transmit from her to you. A strange sensation comes over you. A shiver runs down your spine. Your mind feels as if a fog has been lifted, and you have this new sense of self. It's almost similar to knowing that she can understand you speaking, but greater. This point, as you open your mouth to make standard ferret noises, you actually catch a word.
Ferret? Tiny?
So that's your name. She never told me.
Tiny.
She releases her concentration from the speak with animals spell, because you can now speak on your own. So your name is Tiny. Nice.
Tiny.
Nice to meet you, Tiny. You're gonna help me do a great many things. You're filled with energy.
Yes.
However, I think a talking ferret might be a little bit of a stretch for some people to comprehend. I think we need to teach you your first. I think I need to teach you something. And that's when you yet again start hearing her voice inside your head. Saying, "Calm. This is what I wish to teach you. To speak without speaking."
What?
Are you willing to learn, little one?
Not little, tiny.
I'm sorry, Tiny. Are you willing to learn, Tiny?
Yes.
You kind of curl yourself up in a little ball with only your head sticking out, looking at her.
1 second, like, I've come up with something. Because her name is Tiny, when people call, like, things of different sizes, she thinks that she doesn't realise that people are, like, naming sizes. She thinks so is a name. It's like, little one. It's like, no, I am Tiny. Yes, you are.
Perfect. So as you curl up in a ball as if to sit and just give her your full attention. Roll me an Arcana check.
With old or new?
New stats. You are now Awakened Ferret.
Yippee! I'm trying to figure out how to do all this stuff.
If you're on the map view, if you press with your character sheet open, yeah, there we go.
Yippee! 22! I'm a smart ferret.
Fucking very smart ferret. So effectively, the lower you rolled was going to determine how many days it would take.
Yeah, I've 17 it. Like.
It takes you a matter of it takes you a matter of hours to pick up how to cast the message cantrip. So you can either do it through the so you can either add that spell to your spell list through
one of the reasons
The-
for why my Arcana check was I have Primal Order Magician, you know, one extra cantrip, and it is that your Mystic Connection nature gives you a bonus to your Intelligent Arcana or Nature checks. Bonus is equal to your Wisdom modifier. That's why it was so high. I put message via my Primal Order, because that'll be like the first thing I learned from.
No.
You're there?
Not a stream, but it's a recording and stuff. Sorry, momentarily had to dart away. So you can either add message on through the druid options, because I know there's a few cantrips you can pick up there, or you can just add it as.
I did it via the Primal Order Magician, which gives you one
Nice.
extra cantrip.
Nice.
And that's also why my Arcana check is so high, because I get a bonus to my Wisdom.
Nice. Okay, so you now have the ability to speak telepathically with her at will when you're out and about in public. This is now officially where your true journey with her will begin. She sits you down and explains to you for her plan to work, or for what she wants to do, she needs to acquire a set of very specific things. She needs the bone of a creature considered a behemoth. She needs some part of a giant bug-like creature, and she needs some part of a giant sea creature able to enact her plan. So you're going to be going on quite a bit of a journey with her that will help you level up and help you acquire what it is she's planning.
We're going on an adventure!
Pretty much, yeah. So,
Whoa.
after telling you all this, she teaches you two things. Well, she teaches you one thing particularly, and then offers to teach you a few other things. The primary thing she teaches you is how to meditate and communicate with the natural energy around you to try and learn spells on your own. This we can do. For this, we can do a couple. We can do maybe one in a moment. And then she also says, I will teach you one cantrip that I know, one extra cantrip that I know now, and then anything you witness me use, or you wish to see if I know to be able to teach you, we can sit through and we can learn these things. So, the first thing she is going to teach you while you're still in this forest,
Tiny is climbing on her,
is she's going to teach you druidcraft. So roll me another Arcana. I know this is going to go terribly in your favour.
Gets the nat one now. I didn't build this character to be good at rolling Arcana. They're not even proficient. 15.
So
Their nature is a +9 because of all the... Oh, Jesus.
wait, your nature is a +9.
Yeah, because I am proficient in nature as well.
Well, that was going to be the next roll. Because it is Druidcraft, it deals with the spawning of small plants, making things look pretty, doing natural, nature-based things. Roll me a nature check and that will determine how fast you pick up this spell.
Oh, the 21. 12. I shouldn't be
Okay.
good like this.
So again, she shows you this spell. She shows you the full extent of this spell. So let's have a look. Get the character sheet up and have a look at the spell.
Well.
So she shows you how to bloom plants. She shows you. She pulls out a candle, a torch. She pulls out a couple of candles. Shows you how to light them, how to put them down.
Pokes the fire.
Much to the way of your normal animal instincts, she shows you how to sense if things are harmless, how to create harmless effects, such as leaves falling from trees, the twinkle of some small fairy lights, and a gentle breeze. As well as a tiny way to determine what sort of weather you're going to encounter. A small orb that changes shape and size, size and colour depending on what sort of weathers are going to occur. It does, unfortunately, however, show it's going to get a bit cloudy, possibly rain in the next few days.
That's the orb. Bad orb.
As you pat it, your hand kind of passes through the clouds, parting them, but unfortunately, it still appears to be raining.
Keeps batting at the orb.
She dispels it, just like that. It's like, pff.
Victory.
She sits down with you, and where it is a spell with verbal and somatic components, she helps you learn ways other than using your paw hands to cast the spells, flicks of your tail, squeaks of your voice, so that you can cast the spells without people realizing it's coming from a ferret. But after a couple of hours, you manage to pick up Druidcraft. You can now add that one to your cantrip list.
I have one that has that updated. Let's see. Druidcraft.
She then sits down with you and asks, "Is there anything else you would like me to teach you?" How many of each spell can you presently have, by the way?
I can have 2 cantrip.
Oops, we filled that. No, you took message through your...
Yeah, I can
other
have
means.
1 more cantrip. And I can have 4 prepared spells.
So, two things. First one, if you go onto the bottom right of the page, you can change what your dice looks like, by the way, if you want to change it.
1 second, it got rid of my druid. Learn.
I also had I had to prepare animal friendship just in case you decided to be a bit more hostile in the start. While writing this, I had so many thoughts running through my head.
Change dice. I don't have many. Oh, let's see. Just let's see.
So
Okay, yes. I'm just looking at. Can't we?
So, out of the things she knows, cantrip wise, she has Create Bonfire, Firebolt, Mending, Message, which she's already taught you, Mold Earth, Shocking Grasp, and Thunderclap. However, I don't know whether you'll be able to get Thunderclap or Shocking Grasp, because apparently she knows those through being part wizard.
Thunderclap is on there. I don't think Firebolt's on there. I don't think druids can learn Firebolt.
She's a druid of the land, which is why she knows it. Which their spell list kind of changes depending on what land they specified. And where she's effectively seeking vengeance for the land of this dead forest. She's gone. I went with arid land, so she gets more heat-based spells on her list by the looks of it. Yeah, more heat-based spells.
I don't think they can do shocking. Well, I don't think can do shocking. The only damaging one that they have in common would be Thunderclap. So probably Thunderclap.
Would she like to learn it? Or she can also just go into a meditative stance. Tiny can also go into a meditative stance and just try and learn spells from what she can feel of the nature around her. She doesn't necessarily have to learn directly from Maritha.
Then I would like to learn Frostbite.
Okay.
Martha is like, and here's Firebolt. Me. Frostbite. No, Firebolt. Frostbite.
So you curl up into a ball much like you would you curl up into a ball much like you would when you were sleeping in front of your old owner's fireplace. And while you do this, Maritha creates a bonfire just to keep you warm. So you curl up into a ball. Roll me an Arcana and a Nature check.
Arcana. That was bad. That was a 12.
Still not too bad.
And then nature. Also, I didn't update my dice. 17. Why did it not change to my fuzzy?
So you might need to change it if you've got your actual character sheet open on a separate one. Go onto there and change the dice, see if that works. Because I have a separate one if I'm rolling somehow have a separate one if I'm rolling as characters, or if I'm just hitting a hit roll this dice.
Yeah, it looks like because that one's also currently enabled fuzzy.
So
make sure all these have fuzzy.
As you sit there, it doesn't take you too long because where you're an animal, you've got that deeper connection to nature anyway. So it takes you about an hour of meditation to properly connect with the natural energy around you. After that, you go into a deep meditative state, and you're there. You start feeling the energies of the cold, where the trees have lost their leaves, where that rainfall that you learnt about earlier is inbound, and you steadily start to grasp the power of the spell Frostbite, the cantrip Frostbite. After about 2 hours, you come out of this meditative state knowing how to cast this spell. You can now cast Frostbite.
Yippee! I have all my cantrip.
You spend...
wait.
Oh, go on.
I can know two more cantrips. My background's acolyte. Use magic initiate.
Magic initiate wizard, if I'm sure. So you could.
Cleric. 2 choices with the cleric list.
Oh, you went with cleric spells.
I didn't get to choose.
Well, it only gave me wizard spells, though, to be fair.
It might be because I went with wisdom.
Well, you spend a couple of days in this clearing. She just getting to know Maritha getting to know you.
Me after learning Frostbite rolls on my back because it's like hangy. Hangy.
She pulls a couple of rations out of her pocket, throws them down for you to eat.
No hand.
Could you
So it's like looking at her like rations the floor because it was always fed like directly, mostly from. If I was getting like treats, it would always be like directly from owner's hand. Like no head.
Oh, sorry,
No
Tiny.
head.
She picks up the rations and holds her hand out. You then spend the next few days in this clearing just getting to know each other. Maritha helping you understand your new self, where you are now no longer just relegated to the life of somebody's pet. You are more.
I'm more. I am greater. I am tiny.
She has you test out Frostbite, Druidcraft, keeps you practicing on mending for when you're in situations where... for when you're in situations where maybe speaking out loud's not the best idea for a ferret.
You see, like, okay, tiny cast mending. What? I said better. Yeah.
So it's been a few days, and she says, "Shall we begin our journey proper?"
Pops on shoulder.
Perfect. What should we... You know the ingredients. What should we go after first?
Behemoth.
So, you take a couple of... It takes you a couple of days because with the way this forest is, she has major problems with the city you're by. It's an inland city anyway, so it takes you a good couple of days to get to a coastal city. Because unfortunately, creatures of the size that she's after do not exist on this present landmass. you spend a bit of time wandering around. You can add, and on the journey, she teaches you one of her
Tends to be a scarf.
just drapes. On the journey, she offers again to help you learn spells and whatnot, and is willing to teach you something stronger than just a cantrip. However, this is where it's going to get a bit difficult because she's got her druid circle and some of them come from her druid circle. So the options that she has that she'd be able to teach you are animal friendship, but you have this innate feeling that you might not necessarily need that spell. Create or destroy water, earth tremor, find familiar,
Finds a bigger ferret.
speaks with animals, or thunder wave.
Oh, we have animals. I will do thunder wave. That looks like one that we do have in common. Thunder wave.
So as you're passing across a plain, she's shown you all these, talked to you about all the spells that she can do, and she's shown you one that creates an energy wave from her hand that fills up a nice big area in front of her,
Couple.
creating massive noise, pushing anything in it away. You express interest in this spell.
Big bang.
And she goes, would you like to learn this one, Tiny?
Big bang.
She takes you off her shoulders, sits you down, and literally instructs you through how the spell functions. Picture the space in front of you. Picture it full of creatures, full of things that are in your way.
Like those oil of wet.
Clouds. Get rid of clouds.
They potted tube. Tube? Yes, the wet tube that falls from the sky.
As you sit there, you've taken all your emotions. You feel the natural energy. You feel the urge to push the wet doom from the sky. All the little, you can sense pebbles, leaves, and whatnot in front of you. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana. Actually, we'll start going more nature because you are a druid. Like, learning your first few, we can fuzzy dice. Okay.
19.
So again, pulling in all that nature energy, and in one, like, rather, I wouldn't say angry, but assertive squeak. Everything in front of you, everything in the 15 feet in front of you is pushed away, and you hear a massive as it all goes flying. You now know Thunderwave.
I know Thunderwave. Prepare.
Due to the travelling, it's been pretty much non-stop. After teaching you this spell, she decides maybe we'll sit and wait for a little bit, so that this way you can learn more spells yourself. Go ahead and put, how many first level spells did you say you had access to?
I can do 4 without doing the magic initiate feat.
Go ahead and learn one more spell, And then if you want, you can learn one through Magic Initiate as well. Just let me know what it is.
I'll do a cantrip first from that because I need to do 2 cantrips. Can I take Vampiric Claws?
That comes from a cleric?
No, that comes from the Druid list.
Yeah.
It's Transmutation. It's from Grimhollow.
If it'll let you take it, you can take it.
Yay! Prepare that. Oh yeah, because druids don't. They just know spells. They prepare them.
Yeah, and they can. That's why I'm doing it the way I am. She's able to teach you spells.
And the cantrip will be mending. So I know on Magic Initiate I still have 1 cantrip and 1 spell. And
so,
the one from Magic Initiate casts once per day, once per long rest.
Cool. So she sits back, lets you go into a meditative state, which is where you learn the Vampiric Claws. Upon learning this, you feel your claws sharpen. You feel like they're going to do a little bit more. However, the slight sinisterness of this spell just pulls the attention of a minor nature god. Seeing an animal get a little bit out of rage, a little bit vicious, she just tries to curve you back to your more passive.
Nature goes just like oh no, and just from the perspective of Tiny's just like licking between the paws, just having the time of her life.
You feel the slight nudge of the nature god to look over at what Maritha's doing, and at the time she is mending. She's using the mending cantrip to repair a bit of her staff and use it to patch up her armor. The nudge from the nature god is what makes it so you don't necessarily need to do anything to learn this spell. You've witnessed it in action. You can now cast mending.
Yay!
As the journey progresses, you get to a harbour town. In this harbour town, you don't spend long. Maritha beelines straight for the dock, and hearing you say fish, she goes, okay. Stops by a nearby market stall and buys a few smaller fish for you to put in her bag and hands one to you.
Tiny isn't eating it; they're just holding it in their mouth as like victory. Like they sit on Maritha's shoulder, so Maritha like whenever like the wind blows back like the wrong direction, she just gets a full whiff of this fish. That Tiny's head just like, I am a god among ferrets.
After stopping at the market to buy you fish, she recorrects her path and aims straight for the harbour. Straight towards the dock, straight towards finding passage across the sea. She knows of a desert continent. She knows that's where she needs to be. So, the next thing, within the next few hours, you're aboard a boat.
Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Boat. Still has fists in the mouth. So she's not saying this out loud, but Marissa keeps getting like shots of a message just hitting her head, and just like boat, 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 boat. So has never been on the boat before.
It is at this point. You've been on the boat for about a day. Mostly getting you to meditate, learn spells, finish filling out your spell list for your first level.
Okay, that's I'm not doing that. I saw one I looked at. It's like, that sounds better as fuck. It's called Drowned Blood. Like, oh, that's just.
She's going to a vampire ferret. Jesus.
Vampire ferret. Yum. And
Okay.
entangle. That's my prepared. And medica monsieur. I do guidance.
Again, learning that one, you feel that lesser nature god just give you a hand with learning it. You don't necessarily feel a direct connection to them. They just see that they've noticed that you've awakened to a new life, but you are still technically under their care. So they're lending you a hand on learning that one.
And the once per day spell from that be Shield of Faith.
Again, where you're a small creature, that nature god or goddess, is trying to protect you. Trying to keep you rooted in your natural being. So you spend another few days on the ship, learning these spells, sparring with Mariffa and the various and the few guards that this ship was able to hire. Go ahead and hit yourself up to level 2.
How do I do that? Do I just do that in character builder?
Yeah.
Level
So if you hit manage next to your character name, manage character and levels.
I just went to the. This is the task bit. There's a bit there.
You bugger.
Yeah, level 2.
1 second, I have broken my thing a bit.
Cool. Wow.
So you have a few more hit points. We will say for certain aspects, I will give you access to those abilities that came with that came on a ferret, and I will retro add them onto your character sheet later.
Okay.
So you've been chilling on this ship for a few days. When Mariffa is just sat against the mast of the ship, which would probably be there, just relaxing, minding her own business. You guys have mostly just you've effectively just booked passage. They only had enough. the ship's owners only had enough to hire a few guards. And inevitably, you asking for passage, they didn't want to pay you for being a guard, so Maritha had paid for passage rather than being a guard. So you're effectively just a guest on the boat, along with a bunch of other people.
Sniff's guard.
It's about a week in. You're out in open water when you spot a guard start to panic slightly.
Which one? A, B, or C?
It'd be A.
Oh, Matilda pats guard on the leg, comfort them.
Seeing you go over, Maritha notices the guard in distress and decides, okay, I should probably go over and see what's going on. As Maritha approaches, the guard comes down and goes, "There's a shadow below the boat."
There's always shadow. Boat has shadow.
The guard kind of freaks out for a moment, wondering where this voice is coming from, because it doesn't match Maritha, but also there's like not really any other passengers or crew around. And the crew themselves aren't prepped for a fight. They're just a cargo boat. That's why they hired the guards. And he goes, "No, this shadow does not match the boat. This is a shadow that's moving. It's been following us for at least a day." And then yells, "Guards at the ready." And you notice him pull his spear, the guard pull his spear off his back. The other two guards go to various positions around the ship, watching this shadow swim under the boat. Maritha looks concerned, but thinks it's probably only a shark or something similar, and that the guards could probably handle it if it tries to attack.
Ferret climbs on the railing to look into the water.
So you do see a shadow. You also see a shadow swim under. You momentarily think it's a fish, because at one point it is quite small. It's quite deep. And then all of a sudden it comes higher. And then it sinks back down.
He's a flat. Ah!
And it swims. You notice the shadow go under the boat.
Big fish.
Yes, big. The guards can handle a big fish, Tiny. It's all fine.
Yo. Long arms.
What do you mean, long arms?
The big fish had long arms.
At this point, she stands up. She's like, "This could be what we're seeking. This could help us. This could be part of our search. Are you ready to help me?"
Well, fine. Tasty.
It's at this point, the guard over on this side yells, "It's surfacing!" Guard B waddles. The guards waddle over. The crew and passengers flee back slightly, and you see a tentacle wrap up onto the boat.
Oh, okay, that's... Oh. No. I didn't see that when it flashed. So I was just like, oh, it's sending a full kraken at me. Oh, nice.
I mean, it's still quite tanky.
Oh, yeah, no, I imagine that. Just...
Roll initiative.
I get a -1 to my initiative. Great.
So does Maritha.
Why did it roll? Oh, was that the NPC? Okay. I got a 1. An unnatural 1.
So they're non-players. That's a non-player. That's a non-player. That's a non-player. If you have access, are able to open up Maritha's sheet, you can. I'll let you choose what attacks she does. If not, I can take control of Maritha as well.
Oh, thank. You mind taking control, Bertha?
That is perfectly fine.
I've been here a long time.
So bonus at the top of the round is Maritha.
And at the bottom of the round is the ferret.
The Kraken's actually just above you, so. Let me.
Who's gonna save the day? The ferret. How many spells do I have? I have 3 level 1 spells.
Oh, while I do her turn, feel free to add. How many more are you allowed now at level 2?
Oh fuck. I know 1 more level 1 spell, I think. Yeah, more level.
No more cantrips or anything like that.
No.
That's fine. We'll leave that then. You can learn that one after this. So, Maritha stands from where she is. You watch her point you watch her point her staff towards the juvenile, the baby, the Kraken, and she'll cast Ray of Sickness. And she'll fucking miss.
No!
She's an Earth Genasi. She's not quite used to fighting on a boat.
And she has like a little ferret like tugging at her leg, like going, "Where's the bonfire?"
Then it is the first guard A's turn. He will run up, jump onto this pile of boxes at the side, and he will stab with his spear. Perfect. Actually hits. And that is a
5 damage.
that is a 5 damage. You then have the second one, which is a bit further back. Pile of spears by his side. He will throw his spear. He'll throw his first spear and it will whiff. You'll see it go you'll see it graze slightly past the Kraken and just go. That spear is now gone and in the water. The third one will again try stab with his spear. And the tentacle just whips out of the way just in time to miss the damage.
Yes, I steal.
16.
Now the commoner's all gonna be and just get
The
away.
3 passengers on the ship just run for the hold and disappear down below. A few more.
I'm gonna save them if the Kraken.
A few more run that way, including a couple of the members of the crew. The Kraken will then take its turn. And we're going to be nice. It's very young. It only has... It won't take multi-attacks. It is far too young, but it will whack out its tentacle at one of the crew.
28!
And that whips out at C. Poor C will then take damage from the Kraken's tentacle, which will be half whatever it rolls on this. You watch as this tentacle just completely throws away this guard, knocking him down to the floor, quite badly damaged. Ferret, you're up.
Do I have enough movement to get to the Kraken?
You do, I believe you have. What's your movement speed? 15. Yeah, you should be able to. You should get to, I think, about a block away.
So there.
Yep.
So I'm going to cast Vampiric Claws.
Okay.
So I cast that as a bonus action.
Mhm.
And now my unarmed attack do 1d6 plus 4, and when I deal damage, I gain temporary hit points equal to my spellcasting ability modifier.
Nice.
This is a concentration spell, lasts for 1 minute.
Okay, so if you take any damage, you will lose concentration on it.
Yeah, well, I have to roll the concentration check, don't I?
Yeah. If you take damage, you roll a concentration and...
where is unarmed strike? Nothing to bonus to hit with this.
Bonus to hit on an unarmed strike's normally your...
And you use the spell casting modifier for the attack and damage roll. Okay, so I get +4 because my one is wisdom based. Correct?
Yes. It should already be there. They should have an unarmed strike button under
There
your
is
attacks.
one, but it doesn't have. It doesn't do the changes.
Doesn't do what changes?
The two with vampiric claws.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not visiting. I just get. So I'll go roll this, but it's +4 to this roll.
Okay.
Fuck. Even with the +4, that is.
So unfortunately, that does miss. You kind of clip the wood. I just noticed your unarmed strike damage is 0.
Yeah, but it would be because of the
4 with the
But
so,
with the spell, I would be instead 1d6 plus 4.
But unfortunately, you miss. You are still you. This is the problem. You've been taught to how to learn spells. You've been taught spells, but you haven't really been through combat as of yet. This is your first combat since you've awoken.
The negative of this is I was kind of banking on that bonus hit points on the return strike.
Oh, I know. So up next, it is Maritha's turn again. We are going to have a look at what she can do. She is on water. I'm not, unfortunately, not going to let her use that spell.
If I say lady.
What does that one
Wait, druids just get fine familiar?
do? Mm-hmm. But it's a weird version.
As a nature spirit version. When you finish, the familiar is fey and the spirit disappears when you finish a long rest. Oh.
So she is going to, at this moment in time, risk it all.
Risk it for the biscuit.
She is going to run up. She's going to run up to you. And she is going to cast Tortoise Shell.
I'm gonna grow a tortoise shell.
This gives you a +3 to AC. But if you move, it drops down to a 1. So she's kind of giving you a double-edged sword here. You can probably dodge an attack if it comes your way. So your AC would now be 12. But yeah.
My AC is so crap when I'm not in level 4.
Actually, I have an idea. I have an idea, actually. Might have a better idea. Rather than casting Tortoise Shell, she's going to she's actually, instead of Tortoise Shell, she throws her hand into a pouch on her side, pulling out a sprinkle of a pinch of iron powder. As she places her hands upon you, she casts Enlarge Reduce and then steps back, taking you from a tiny creature to a small creature. So rather than the hit point bonus, you get on unarmed strikes and weapon attacks. You get an extra D4 to your damage.
Yippee!
What is
Tiny is now small.
name changes every time.
Tiny's just like I feel the power welling inside me. I am all powerful. I am all mighty. To everybody else, it's still just like squeak.
She doesn't actually run away. She runs and dives into the water. Just manage her extras real quick. She runs, dives into the water, and you see her form start to change. As you see her form change, you see it take on the form of a shark.
She becomes feet.
She is now in this water, ready to fight this kraken one-on-one if she needs to.
Fight me, bitch.
It actually boosts up her hit points a little bit. Oh no, actually her hit points stay the same for this. But she gets a 12 AC rather than the fucking...
Don't you get bonus AP for becoming
Nope.
party?
it's stuck it at her HP, so. But giving her a 12 AC, so. We'll see. So she dives into the water. As she dives, you see her form shift into that of a reef shark.
Dive. Guard's turns.
For a number of hours equal to your druid level, or until you use wild shape again, you have the incapacitated. You have the incapacitated condition or die. Your game statistics are replaced by the beast stats, but you retain your. You retain your on a wild shape. You retain your hit points, hit die, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, as well as class features, languages, and feats.
But the thing is, above the game statistics, it's temporary hit points. When you use your more wild shape form, you gain a number of temporary hit druid level.
It has not unfortunately given her any.
Why? Yoey.
So this is what you now see in place of Mariffa. You see a reef shark.
Yerk.
Wait, can I? Companions, common, familiars, pets, wild shape. Oh yeah. If I had it there, hopefully it lets me work it the same. Oh nice, and I can roll from there. Perfect. Cool. So, Mariffa is now a reef shark. After Mariffa, it is the. It is guard A. Guard A, where it is just going to roll a stab. Hey, guard A hits this time.
The guard A hit the first time.
But deals minimal damage.
Again, I think that's the second time it did minimal damage.
After guard A, we have guard B, who is again just going to throw another spear from its side.
Does not have a good arm.
Realising that they are very dexterously challenged, they will move slightly closer. Guard C will then get up, run back, because there's no way this ship is making it if they don't try and fight this thing.
Oh,
Still
no!
slightly unconscious. Guard C king whiffs their shot too. The commoners then two more of the commoners disappeared below deck, with the captain and another member of the crew guarding the porthole and watching to see. It is then, unfortunately, the Kraken's turn. The Kraken, seeing that there is now a threat in the water, is going to actually lash out with its tentacle attack at Mariffa. But where I'm going to make it even younger than it is, it'll have disadvantage. 16 unfortunately hits Mariffa. And again, it will half its damage. Mariffa takes 11 points of damage in her shark form. No, that doesn't have the right stats. Rude. Oh wait, why can I not take health off of Mariffa? Oh wait, if I go that one. Oh, I can't not make her. Okay, so I'll have to remove it from here. She takes 11 points of damage. And then Tiny is up next. Roll me a concentration, a wisdom save, please.
A wisdom save.
To maintain your vampiric claws spell. Because you did unfortunately miss and tank the roll. It has
That's
unfortunately failed, and
Yeah.
the spell drops.
Yup, the spell. Well, re-upping the spell.
Okay. Mark off another use of the spell.
Yeah, yeah, this will get at +4.
Roll it.
Jeebus!
Again, still not used to combat.
Jeebus!
And we're back to the top.
Well, we're just gonna die.
If it looks like that's going to happen, I will story of... Oh, Maritha fought it to the death in the water. So Maritha is going to make a bite attack in her new sharky form. So that is a +4 to this. So does that hit? Okay, right. We'll get through this round, see what happens, and then we'll decide. So as being an earth genasi, again, not used to fighting in the water, absolutely manages to swim through the writhing tentacles, dodging each one as she goes, but not managing to latch her teeth onto any of them. It is now Guard A's turn. Guard A will roll to hit.
He's only one that fucking hit.
Guard A hits again, but will it deal any damage? 4 points of damage dealt to the big boy.
Guard B, can you throw your spear better?
Guard B has opted to not throw his spear and run right to the edge of the ship.
Oh my god. Well plan, Colin. Will it pay off? It will not.
Almost falls off the ship with that aim. Up next, Guard C.
Guard A is like... second competent guard.
Guard C this time manages to actually hit, but for
no.
but for minimal damage.
Oh. Her.
It's fine, I have formulated a plan.
The plan is I'm gonna crit on my turn and just insta-kill it. It's fine.
Again, the crew of the ship guarding the hold, making sure the ship stays steady. It's then the Kraken's turn. Cannot decide what's the worst threat, the one in the water or the one on land, so it's gonna go for Guard A.
It's like, this is the only one that's consistently hurt me.
Again, I'll roll all its rolls with disadvantage just because we were making it younger than it is. Unfortunately, hits Guard A.
Does it get +12 to hit?
Yes. For
What the fuck?
7 damage. Guard A is now
Oh.
definitely looking worse for wear.
Yeah, God A. God A, I will save you.
It is now Tiny's turn. Roll me a wisdom.
Oh, 21.
You maintain.
The fat load of good it's gonna do.
Nice. Why did it roll a d20? You also have a a d4 on that.
That was the D20 was to hit.
The d20 was to hit.
Yeah, and that was 8. Getting stuck on a 20. My screen.
Yeah, it's what it got stuck on mine. I'm like, oh, threatens to crit. Ooh, crits. It is then It is then Maritha's turn. And Maritha is yet again going to roll to bite the at the big boy. It hits. So it gets. So she gets to roll these. So Kraken takes a little bit more damage now.
Wearing it down, Colin. We're wearing it down.
Wearing it down slowly but surely.
We're taking the old Russian attack strategy. If we put enough bodies into it, it doesn't matter who dies.
Guard 1 critically fails to hit. Splooshing into the...
God, hey, you're meant to be the hero.
Splooshing into the water next to it. Guard B. Oh my god. We're going for a water... No, didn't critically fail. Missed again. And guard C.
Oh, that was almost the critical fail. But he hit.
But yeah, guard C just about hits. Ooh, guard C gets a decent bit of damage in there. Well, decent for his level.
Yeah. Decent for guard. The crew are just like,
the captain you now see has his hand on his hip.
Disappointed in the guard.
Slightly disappointed, but you can see his hand and the other crew member. Their hands are now on their hips, as if preparing something.
Oh.
The Kraken, seeing that
the guard in the water.
Seeing that guard A has fallen in the water.
Bill.
Guard A is now dead.
Wait, what? Isn't that a 1? Oh no, it's a 7 on the other.
Guard A is now unfortunately dead, having been eaten.
He did the most damage, and now he's been eaten.
As you whiffed again, give me a
18.
Yep, you keep concentration.
Let's hit. Let's actually hit. +4 to this. This is a 50.
You just miss.
Ah.
Roll the D4 of damage. As you just miss, you graze its tentacle going past you. So it takes the two bonus damage from your size change.
The big
And momentarily I need to look something up.
Wish I had proficiency in unarmed. Pirate captain. Wait, they're pirates? They were hiding as pirates?
Combat.
They could have been helping this entire time.
They were, as you said, hiding as pirates. They are smugglers. That's why it was so easy for you to pay your way onto such a onto a ship.
They could have been fighting
So the initiative order has now slightly changed. They didn't want to resist. They aren't dressed like pirates. They are dressed like simple merchants. This is a cargo ship. If I had my camera on, you would have noticed air quotes. This is a cargo ship. They are smugglers. They were trying to stay under the radar, but if they are under attack, they are going to and the guards they hired seem to be useless. They are going to start fighting back, especially against a kraken. He could, if they take this down. The captain is now under the impression if they even though it's a baby, if they manage to take this down and acquire a trophy from it, he might be able to gain in station. He might be able to become more than just a simple smuggler. Yeah. So, at the top of the round, it is now the captain's turn.
So now there is pirates, guards, juvenile kraken, and a crying ferret that can't hit.
So,
because her stats so good.
So it's now the captain's turn. The captain gets to make 3 attacks.
Does he have a fucking gun? Does he have like a flintlock?
He pulls his pistol from his side and crits with the first one.
Stealing my funding.
Pulls his pistol from the side. Hits with the second one.
What?
And pistol from the side hits with the third one. So that is 24 plus 13, so that's 37. So that is 49 points of damage fired at this juvenile kraken. You've now seen how it's done.
Hey, his gun's a bullshit.
His gun was a bit bullshit. He's got a +7 to hit, and then he crit with the first one. So it's now Maritha's turn. She's gonna roll. In her shark form, she is gonna roll to bite at this kraken's tentacles. Again, she's an Earth Genasi. The water is not her home.
Only one guard and the pirate captain are allowed to do damage apparently.
The pirate is going to hold his action in case the... Actually, we'll see. Do you got pew pew? No, you do not have pew pew. The pirate is going to hold his action and wait to see if the kraken moves around to the other side of the ship. I would like to state I'm going to halve the kraken's stats, so it is looking a bit worse for wear when it comes to health-wise. It was not expecting there to be a gun on this ship. Guard B
not
is
expecting a ferret either, but a ferret's doing fuck off.
Guard B is going to roll to hit. Guess what? Guard B fucking misses. And so does Guard C. It is at this point in time, the pirate captain looks very miffed off.
Why did I spend money on these people?
Yeah, he spent a good amount of money on these people, and they're doing absolutely fuck all.
I mean, their job normally isn't to fight crack.
Yes, but they were hired to guard. They said they were competent. Seeing that Maritha is trying to bite it, the Kraken is going to turn its maw and aim to bite Maritha. Even at disadvantage. That's a
Why is the Kraken roll so high?
And Maritha takes 12 points of damage. She is still alive, don't you worry. After the Kraken, it is you again. We need that Constitution, that Wisdom save again. And the spell fails.
All my spells. It's just frostbite, but I wanna do vampiric claws. I just could cast frostbite.
You're going to cast Frostbite? Okie dokie. What does it require? Is it a to hit or is it a save?
Save. No, fuck it. I'm using my last spell slot. I don't care. Vampiric claws.
Did you not pick up a different damage spell?
Thunder wave. Thunder wave is the only other damage spell I have.
Would you like to try a Thunder Wave?
That's a first it was filter. No, I'm clawing it.
You liked the sound of the ferret liked the sound of that spell when it was cast. Do you want to try it or do you want to still go for the claws?
I'm going for the claws.
Okay.
I'm gonna claw it if it kills me. +4! It's 16!
That hits.
Finally!
Roll damage. Remember you get an extra d4 to the damage.
I'll do that and then roll it. So that's 7.
Then roll a d4.
1, so that's 8. And I get 4 temporary hit die. Hit points.
Nice.
How do I...
So next up is the captain's turn. The captain is very pissed off. He hired guards that have turned out to be useless.
A ferret after like 3 or 4 rounds of not being able to hit has done more damage than all the guards.
He's not going to do anything in terms of you or Maritha. You guys paid to be on this ship. The other two he paid to be on this ship. He paid
gonna kill them?
to be on this ship. So he's going to shoot guard B. Hits. Shoots guard C and hits.
He's killing the guards, boys! He's a Kraken!
Guard B takes 8 points of damage, and you hear from the captain, the next one goes through your eye. Now do something useful. And the bullet that hits guard C
Just kills him!
kills him outright.
He just falls into the ocean to be eaten by the...
You see a tentacle come up out of the water from the Kraken, and he pulls the body down and starts chomping on it. The captain then goes, "Oops, didn't mean to do that," and fires his last blast at the Kraken, actually missing the Kraken. He then points over to the guard, to his compatriot, and goes, "You might want to give us a hand. I'm sure the merchandise will survive." So, I don't agree with this feature. Apparently, you can still cast spells in wild shape in the new rule set. So, the Shark Maritha is going to cast Thunderwave.
Oh no. Bag. Big bag.
And that means the Kraken needs to make a con save. Fuck me. Nope. Rolling all of them with disadvantage with it being younger and the stats being low for everyone. It makes the save. Fuck me. Everybody hears a boom, the ship shakes, the water around the ship shakes a little bit. But no damage occurs.
They take half as much.
On a fail, the creature takes 2d8. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, it's not because it's not the cantrip one. They don't take.
On a failed save, the creature takes 2d8 damage and is pushed back. On a successful save, the creature takes.
On a successful save, the creature takes only half as much damage.
So it takes whatever damage that was. 7 damage. And is now on its somewhat last legs and is going to start trying to flee.
No! Tiny's gonna kill him! Tiny's gonna fucking kill him!
The other pirate doesn't have the movement to get all the way over, but does have the ability to throw a few of his daggers. So, dagger number 1. The captain might be shooting someone else in a minute. And dagger number 2 hits for minimal damage.
Tiny's gonna fucking kill him. He's gonna leave Tiny's reins and Tiny's gonna fucking have at him.
Up next is the last remaining guard.
Who's not living this encounter.
Nope. He failed.
My captain's putting him down.
The
Attack of opportunity.
Kraken's gonna move away. Yep, roll.
Play. Yes.
You actually hit. Roll to damage. Don't forget the D4.
8 damage. I bite your balls off.
Was it 8 damage that rolled a... Yes, it was.
Yes, 1d4 damage.
This Kraken is now very much worse for wear. You're not the only one that got the attack of opportunity. Maritha is going to take another bite attack.
Maritha, please.
Just forgot her stats momentarily. And Maritha is... Yep, so she's going to take a bite attack. And she crits! So it'll take 4d4 damage. I love how they all just piled up. So that's another 16 points of damage. Maritha has now finally synced in with her form, attacks the Kraken as it goes away, ripping off tentacle after tentacle after tentacle. The Kraken's body now just floats there in the water.
Tiny currently clawing out one of the tentacles. Ah!
You see the shark form of Maritha jump back up out of the water, and her form shift back to her normal Genasi self.
Unless the fight carry on, Cap, I would my spell and.
Say that again, sorry?
Is the fight still going on with the captain, or is it?
No, the captain holsters his pistol.
Okay. I will move my temporary HP as my spell and. Vampiric claws only gives me my temporary HP while it's active.
Maritha's shark form bursts back out of the water onto land. As she changes back, you see that she's still holding a tentacle in her mouth, and
I become tiny again.
Yes, she drops the concentration on and reduce enlarge, and
I'm tiny.
And drops the tentacle out of her mouth.
I'm standing victorious on one of the tentacles that is still on the tip. I did it.
Well done, Tiny. Well done.
It's just like there's Kraken blood like just bathed over Tiny.
Whatever color Tiny was, she is now red with Kraken blood. She is like a a deep purple coated in this Kraken blood. Little bits of ink mixed in there.
I did it.
The guard flops down on top of that door.
Get fucking
and starts patching up the gunshot wound.
Get fucking killed.
The captain looks over and goes, "Huh, you survived a shot. Kind of useful as bait for the Kraken. Do you want a job after this, or are you going back to sucking at probably your other job?" The guard literally goes, I don't think sea life's for me.
I think I'm retired.
Captain then turns to his comrade and goes, "Get that target on the mast now and practice." After watching his underling tank a shot entirely.
The pirate's like, that was my favourite knife too.
It takes about another. The captain then goes over to the Kraken, takes a net from off the ship, hauls the rest of the body up onto the ship.
Tiny goes over the body. I eat.
You may take a bite. Small. The pirate starts speaking and then goes, Did the ferret just speak?
No. Can I do a deception check?
Yeah, roll me a deception.
I get
13. Yeah. No. It's a wisdom one, isn't it? Let's try this wisdom save. By gosh. A talking ferret. At this point, Maritha comes over, holding the tentacle. You will not
I start eating some of the crab.
You will not touch the ferret. If you touch the ferret, I will report what's below in the hold. And at that point, the captain backs off.
Also, just like, because Tiny's gonna act a bit dumb here, but it's like not actually her being dumb. She's like, because he said she could eat a bit of it. She's particularly eating some of the face.
Fair
to
enough.
make it a worse trophy.
Maritha looks at the captain and states, "You can take a trophy from this if you wish. You can use to gain yourself some station, but I also wish to harvest parts from it." You notice at this point the tentacle that she was holding has completely disappeared.
Glitters an eye.
She walks over to the unsquished eye, pulls it from the corpse of the kraken, reaches under its tentacles, and rips off a chunk of its beak. You see these for a moment, and then they just completely vanish. The captain, after seeing you squish the other eye gets stolen, goes, "I guess it's teeth and more for me." And cuts away a small patch of its flesh, rips off the other half of its beak, and reaches in and pulls out a few of its teeth. "These'll make a decent necklace at least. But thank you for the assistance. If you ever need a job, you know where to find me. Well, you might know where to find me." You then sit back down, and it's a less eventful trip. Another few days go by until you make land on the other side. You see a quiet fishing village.
Fishing village pull up to a fishing village and they're like, cargo ship. Why has it got a crack in a mod?
You see a quiet fishing village that seems to be what looks from where you are the only oasis on a desert continent.
So dies girl be hot.
Maritha thanks the captain for the travel, and no further words are said. You disembark. You wander and start wandering the village. So you can hit the long rest button. You've had days between the fight. You've spent the last few days smelling nothing but decaying the decaying carcass of this kraken.
Whenever I've been getting hungry, I've just been going over to the crack, taking bites out of it.
Roll me a Constitution save.
Oh no! Hey,
You when you first started nibbling on it, you're like, "Oh, this is fine. This is fine." The second when you actually go to fully feast on it, your stomach feels unsettled for a little bit, but it just goes away. And you do spend a couple of days while you're on the ship just eating nothing but kraken. Maritha weirdly chuckling to herself, seeing you eat the spoils of war. You see, as you walk away from as Maritha walks away from the ship, if you're on her shoulder, you kind of glance over and see that the fishermen around spot the kraken on the boat, and the captain is trying to haggle prices for this not intact kraken, but it looks like the flesh might go for a bit, especially in a desert continent where fish is the only thing they're gonna eat. This amount of it from one creature probably sells for quite a bit.
Tiny's just like, I am proud of myself. It's like he's feeling very proud of themselves. So basically, halving the captain's money they got from this. He was a meanie.
So you're saying you stole from the pirate? Oh yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, by eating the kraken.
So upon getting into this town, you stop. Maritha decides to stop and spend the night. Not too long. You find a small tavern that has a couple of rooms spare. Spend the night, and then in the morning she arranges passage deeper into the desert. She knows of a town deep in the desert.
Why it's so hard?
Referred to as Sandbura, but it's going to be a few days' travel. Finish filling out your spells, if you have any left.
Yes, I have one. Do one more.
You spend this time.
Why it's so hard?
She turns to you and says, "I'm sorry, small one. It is just the price we pay. The only place I could think of for one of the ingredients is deep in this desert." She books passage on a sandwagon heading for this city at the center of the desert. It takes several days, but as you approach, what you initially see is just a massive spiral of what appears to be bone. Not just that it's bone, it appears like it's almost the ribcage of a giant worm-like creature spiraled upwards. As you get closer and closer, you can just about see off in the distance that there is actually a full city built in between the bones, spiraling up as the bones spiral up.
I'm taking healing word, by the way.
Fair shout, fair shout.
Do healing word or click cure wound?
Cure wounds is a touch, healing word is a verbal.
And healing words is a bonus, actually. Yeah, I'll do healing words. So this is more to just get somebody back up.
So, as you approach, you see this spiral of bone. You can see buildings built in and around it, starting at the base on the desert floor, going up the spiral of bone. You can't quite tell if it's one creature or this bone spiral is made from multiple creatures. But then as you get closer, every now and then, up out of the desert, you see more and more spikes. You see spikes of bone just here, there, and everywhere.
Deep.
Maritha hops down. Roll me a perception.
Our perception. I need to get anything better.
I'll also roll one for Maritha.
I get +4. That's an 8.
You don't quite notice it because you're on Maritha's shoulder. So you think it's just the wagon that's causing the shakes. But
Bumpity, 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 bumpity.
Maritha feels something crawling in the earth. She knows there's something about, but she really needs this material.
Well, gonna die.
She hops down off the wagon, tells the driver, "Thanks for the lift. We'll pay you when we get to town," and runs over to the nearest bone spike. She runs to the bone spike and starts carving the biggest chunk she can out of the ground. Roll me another perception.
Party up your head. Party up your head. It's an 18. He got a 22.
You both now feel this tremor.
Oh. Oh.
You both now feel this tremor, and off in the distance, you see the sand move. She's frantically smashing the shards. She manages to get a nice big chunk of bone up, roughly the size of the tentacle she stole from the Kraken. Roll me another perception.
Oh no!
You can no longer feel the tremor.
Ah.
It's just subsided.
Ah.
You progress through the desert. The city itself, within 150 feet away.
Oh.
Roll me another perception.
I don't happy.
I don't know whether it was fear or what. You can no longer feel the tremor. Maritha picks up on a tremor.
It's getting so good at that stuff.
Oh boy. Okay, 16. You roll me a... Is it an acrobatics? Roll me an acrobatics.
Oh, I'm so good at it. That's the 12.
You just about manage to hold on to Maritha by your front paws as she sets off into a sprint. Sprinting. Not slowing down in the slightest. She's still going. Roll me another acrobatics.
Go. That's an 8. I can get fucked.
You're now hanging on by just about one paw. Your one paw. Roll me another acrobatics.
That's a crit.
You manage to claw yourself back up. You see off in the distance the sand start to shift again. You start to feel the tremor again.
No.
Feeling the tremor, Maritha bursts into a even faster sprint. Roll me another acrobatics.
You're gonna crit fail one of these. It's a 9. Da-da-da.
Again, where you manage to claw all yourself back to your front two paws, just gripping her, your back end worming as she runs.
Blah, 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 blah.
You once again, you catch a glimpse of it as it dives up and back down into the sand, almost catching itself on these stone spikes. The city's now good 50 feet away.
Oh. Oh no.
Maritha is steadily running out of breath.
Oh,
Slowing
no.
down. The tremors are getting worse. You've got the city 50 feet away, 30 feet behind, almost 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, almost 40 feet behind you. The whole head of this sandworm emerges from the sand,
Jesus.
writhing around. Do you want to say anything to Maritha? Do anything to try and spur her on? Give her advice? Anything?
Could I attempt cast Entangle on the sand?
What's it require?
It's a verbal somatic.
I mean, more. Is it save? Attack roll?
It is each creature in the area you cast a spell must succeed on a strength save throw or be restrained.
What's the
and
DC?
It turns the ground into difficult terrain as well.
What's the DC?
Where do I check DC?
So it should be list with the spell.
14. So it still becomes difficult terrain. But if they fail, they get restrained.
Did you see that dice?
No.
Oh, it just said it just to me. I will roll that one again then, just for your sake. So you said strength, yeah?
Yes. It's restrained!
That's nice. The first one was a fail.
It still would have been slowed by difficult terrain.
It's a sandworm. It can burrow.
Yeah. But it's been restrained!
Just double checking. Traits, tunnel of the worm can burrow. It does not have any resistance to being restrained. It is restrained.
It has to wait until its next turn to do a strength, I think.
Well then, at this point in time, we're gonna say this is roughly where you guys are.
Woo!
I'm gonna do one thing just to help with movement. Can you move both of those? Because I'm assuming you're staying on her shoulder.
Yes.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay, so her movement. Her movement speed. Where is movement speed listed? So she has 30 foot of movement. I'm giving you this opportunity now. You've restrained it. I need you to roll initiative for me.
That's a 2.
And the sandworm is on a 13, so it has to make its strength save again, yes?
Yes.
So that will take up his...
So a restrained creature can take an action to make a strength athletics check against a spell save. See, on its success, it frees itself from the grasping plant, so it's no longer restrained by them. restrained by them.
It's broken out of the restraint, but it can't do anything else. It's going to just literally burrow down. It's going to spend all its movement to go down.
Well, if I didn't do that, it would already be on it. It's bought us a turn.
Next, Maritha. As it's buried itself down in the ground, Maritha is going to... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There was a higher level spell. Is that one? Yes. Okay, so Maritha is going to roll to cast Erupting Earth at its last known location.
Oh.
Well. Wait.
So, is this a case of us we just need to get back to the city, or do we have to actually kill the sandworm?
It'll be a get back to the city. You won't need to kill it because I'm not dropping its stats for this one, just because it's the whole point of the desert to be dangerous. So it has to make a dexterity saving throw. Which it fails.
Oh!
Taking... Why should you do so shit damage, though? 12 points of damage. If you would like to sprint her the 30 feet forward...
I get 5 feet per square?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
You're literally now almost at the cusp of the city. What would you like to do?
I would like to...
You also see that you see the guards at the gate that you're approaching, because where it is a spiral of bone between each ribs, they count it as a gate. The set you're counting, and each one is monitored by 2 guards on each side. As they see you running, they're like, oh shit, sound the alarm. There's a sandworm out there.
I cast jump on Merthyr.
Did you say jump?
I cast jump on Merthyr.
Okay. Spell description for me real quick.
You touch the winning creature once on each of its turns until the spell ends. Can jump up 30 feet by spending 10 movement.
She is more than willing.
So, on her turns, he's going to be able to whoop!
So we're now back at the start of the turn. You heard the guttural, you heard groans and trembles as Maritha cast the spell. She definitely hit with it. You realise that you might be partially okay, somewhat, with the fact that there are all these bone spikes around you. Hopefully it can't get through. So it's going to roll to hit. With disadvantage because of the surrounding terrain. It manages to land a shot. I'm just gonna... Does that make my AC better? It's only up to a 10. Okay. Shield. manages to hit. But as it surfaces up out of the sand, just behind you, about to bite you, two massive bolts land into its side. As you look at the city, the ribs that make up the gate, make up the tower, contain ballistas just towards the top of them. Maritha, sensing your spell, makes the jump the rest of the way. You are now in the city of Sambara. The sandworm is raging, smashing across rocks. It can't get into Sambara. The bone that make up its outer walls, make up its gates, is too dense for it to manage to break through.
Yippee! Tiny do good.
Tiny do very good.
Tiny do good.
Now that you're here, Maritha sits down for a minute to take a breath. That was not expected.
Big wow.
As an Earth Genasi, I should be more prepared for land-based combat. But not when it's just myself. How are you doing, Tiny?
Big worm.
It was a very big worm, yes.
Big worm.
Hopefully one day you will grow to that size.
Big ferret.
Sits down for an hour or two just by the gate. The guards ask if she's okay.
I tied up the worm.
Again, they look around. Who said that? And then they look at the ferret. Oh, peculiar creature. We don't see many of your kind, especially not those that have fur.
I was like, Murphy's just like, okay, be careful, don't talk to people. His first thing is hi. Murphy's is like face palming every time.
Oh yeah, every time she will face palm and she'll go, "Why did I bother?"
Hi, I'm Tiny.
And every time she kind of not to upset you, but every time she will face palm, "Why did I bother?" And then on the occasion you'll hear her under her breath, "If I wanted a talking animal, I would have bought the parrot." But her quest in town is now one that is going to take hopefully not too long, but she knows it will take long. She's worried what it might risk, but she hits up every tavern, every guild that she can find. With it being a desert town, you mostly find a monster hunter guild and a thieves guild, not necessarily a adventurers guild, but she finds a monster hunters guild. In the monster hunters guild, she walks straight up to the counter. "I'm looking for a bug. A big bug." And after about half an hour of searching their records, the clerk comes back. "Okay, we have one-ish request. There is a rather large bug that seems to have started to occupy, which seems to be defending a temple down in the jungle. Now, this jungle is not overly large. I'm pretty sure 100 feet around this temple, that's it. With a small ravine. That's not the problem. This bug guards that temple, guards that jungle, and it is not small. And
Tiny just whispers to themselves.
What does Tiny whisper?
They just whisper to themselves, "Hey, Tiny," because they hear the bug is not small.
But here's the problem. With the recent sandworm sighting near the city, transport's going to be hard to get. And you're looking at travelling across the continent to the southernmost tip. It's months if you're going through by foot, a few weeks if you can manage to get a sandwagon. It's up to you if you want to take it, but we don't expect too great of a thing. Maritha begrudgingly takes it and leaves the guild. Well, Tiny,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a run.
Gonna eat a bug. Gonna eat a bug. Gonna eat a bug. Its name isn't small.
So you now spend a few days looking for a sandwagon, something to get you down to that jungle faster. It takes a lot of bargaining. The sandworm that you come up across has only been... the guards have only lost sight of it in the past few hours. There's been no tremors felt, nothing. So it was a hard push to find somebody willing to make the journey. But there was one crazy person willing to do it.
Crazy.
And I'm pretty sure the only reason they did it, they are a fellow Genasi.
What type of Genasi are they?
Upon looking at them, where Maritha's skin is all cracked and a pale grey, they're a more lighter tone, whitey blue colour. The symbols on their arms remind you of the clouds that Maritha once summoned.
Bad orb.
They
Tiny
lead...
just points at their very like bad orb.
Within the next few hours, they lead you down to what can only be described as a sandwagon port. You see various actual wagons, and then you see what look to be small makeshift boats. And now experiencing what it was like to be on a boat, you kind of look around and go, "Where's the water?"
Maritha, bad orb person has bow in bad place.
Don't worry, Tiny. I trust them.
But a bad orb.
What you board is effectively is the equivalent of a rowboat. It's outfitted with a few things to defend it. It's made to be structurally sound, but its sail is like twice the size that it would normally be. That's why you see the new Genasi just stood at the back, waving her hands back and forth at the sail, casting the gust cantrip over and over and over as the sail starts to go up and the boat starts to move forward. Maritha knew somewhat how it would function. Turns around to her fellow Genasi going, I hope it can move faster than this. We've got some... We need to outrun a worm. That's where you see all the markings up the Genasi's arms glow. Rather than throwing her arms back and forth casting gust, they start spiraling round each other as a tornado bursts from her hands. She's casting whirlwind, blowing this boat. You're now travelling rather quickly. This conversation goes by over the next few days, week and a half.
How many times he says what her name is, the Tiny will only refer to her as Bad Orb.
Whenever you guys need to stop, especially when you don't tend to stop after the first few days. It's tiring, but you can't. You get this sense that if they stop, you're probably not in for anything fun.
Worm food.
After 3 days, you're just on the outskirts of all the bone spikes. That was the last time you stopped, because you realised when travelling around the city, around the outskirts of the city in this boneyard, people huddle inside around the bone spikes. These seem to be the safer places to wait. Out in the open desert, it's not good.
They're a worm.
You do occasionally feel a tremor, but they're far off. Week 1 goes by. You have to stop for a little bit because the Genasi is slowly running out of speed. Week 2, you actually start to see trees off in the distance.
Oh. Please.
The whole time, you find that Maritha has been casting create water every now and then, helping keep you all refreshed, keep you all cool. You get to the edge of this jungle, and as you do, you feel the biggest tremor you've felt yet, and the sandworm just bursts up, arcs away from you, and burrows back down.
Bad worm. It's following. Oh, no more.
You are now in the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. We got copyright strike.
You can see a temple rising up from up in the distance, really not that far away. Make a perception check.
Oh, I'm no good at up hard. Party up, John. Party up, John.
On that extra sheet, you know, the one with the original stats ferret, what is the description that reads under the senses one?
Of lying, hearing, or smell.
You get advantage on this one.
Yippee! It's the 19.
You're barely into this jungle when you start to hear zzz, zzz. The flapping of really giant wings.
Tiny just like bonking Riff on her head.
Yes, Tiny, I hear it too. You're both on alert. You get deeper into the jungle to the foot of this temple. And you see it come down from over the trees and land on the steps.
Oh, jeez! I don't like that. I don't like that.
Maritha darts into the tree line.
I don't like that.
Okay, my child.
That shouldn't be a thing.
She holds you in front of her, and goes, "Okay, my child. I'm sorry to do this. I'm really sorry to do this. Don't choose any options. Hit yourself to level 3 to boost your stats slightly."
Level. Yeah. I don't. What? So I get a bit more HP.
"I'm really sorry to do this, my child." And you feel that sensation that you felt back on the ship. She casts Enlarge on you again. Placing you on the floor.
Second.
I forgot what level spell this is.
Have you seen?
Small.
I don't even see.
As you're a willing creature, you don't have to roll the save. But yeah, she sprinkles the iron dust on you, chants the words, and causes you to grow in size again.
Am I the distraction?
I need you to be the distraction.
What are you doing? Fair, like, takes a few moments. Steps out of the tree line. Hey, ugly!
Zzz, zzz.
Ugly!
As you step out,
I am small!
as you step out from the tree line, you look back at Maritha, who, again, from the tip of her staff, you see an almost sickly green come shooting towards this giant bug creature. See a sickly green beam come shooting towards this bug creature. Hear it scream out in pain as it takes damage. Oh, I should have... Wait. I can cast that at a higher level. Whoopsies.
Whoopsie.
Let's just hit that for a moment. Oh, it's fine. Let's see what level. Oh no, that is the only level she can fire it at. It did not upscale. How rude. But this is where you see this sickly green beam. Does it have to make a save against the poison? Hit this bug, and it has the poison condition for the next. Oops, pressed a button. Poison condition. Ability checks and attacks affected. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. So this bug will now have disadvantage on all of its attacks for its next turn at least.
Yippee!
Roll initiative.
Bottom roll. Bottom roll.
Okay. Start combat. You're up first.
I didn't see the giant roll.
You're up first.
I am up first. I am mighty. Quest. Do I know if we're meant to take this out, or is this I'm just meant to be a distraction from Earth?
For now, you're just a distraction.
Okay. So if I'm just a distraction, I'm gonna do what distracts do good. I am casting Entangle.
Go for it. It was a
So,
strength save, yes?
yes. DC 14. No.
Unfortunately makes the save, but is now caught in difficult terrain.
Yes.
What's the radius of the difficult terrain?
20-foot square range. So there's like the 20-foot between me and it catching it.
Okay, so it can't. So it's gonna be difficult for it to get to you. But
yeah, and
yeah,
I'm gonna like move 1, 2, 3, like over here. So can I ping? Is there a way to ping?
so it would be yes. Under the ruler, point and ping.
Wait, under ruler? There's a ruler?
There's also this. Entangle, right?
Yeah. So it'd be just catching it. So like just
There.
here. Yeah. And I've gone. Wait, I was here, so I'm gonna go like kind of up here.
Cool, cool.
Directly diagonally here, like moving away from Merthyr while still being in its like line of sight.
Okay.
Can't do that even though it's bonus action because I've already cast a spell and I'm already on a concentration spell. Okay, yeah, that's
Cool.
uses bonus action.
The
to
bug,
shout
the
sanity.
bug, seeing you haven't approached, is gonna wait. It doesn't want to move. It's guarding its temple. It's been hit. So it is going to. It doesn't have a range attack, I don't think. No, it doesn't. Well, it does, but it doesn't. It is just going to sit there, eyes darting between you and the tree line that shot it. It's waiting. It's thinking. On Maritha's turn, you see the trees start to glow deep. The trees around her start to glow a deep red. Going for the maxist of levelings. That one. Oh, it might be better. Oh, we've classed it now. So it's fine. We cast it now. Her hands start glowing red. She shapes them. You see a ball, an orb, and then it launches forward. The creature must take a dexterity saving throw. It's gonna fucking succeed in it.
It
failed.
double crit fail.
Are you ready for this one?
Did she cast Fireball?
She cast Fireball. For She burnt her 5th. It's the last material she needs. She burnt her 5th level spell slot and cast Fireball, taking a massive chunk of its damage off. I just need to... Okay. So I can't burn both... She burnt her 7th level spell slot. I just can't burn both 5th levels. Rocketing out of the trees, you just see this massive explosion across the bog. As it's now a little bit seared.
My turn.
Your turn again.
So Ferret is I'm hoping it only has like 30 foot movement. Even if it has 40 foot, it would have to get out of this. It would have to use 20 feet of it. Are squares 5 feet?
Yes.
I'm using the ruler, and the ruler is different.
Yeah, the ruler is very different. The squares are 5 feet in terms of a character. A character size is 5 by 5 for a small or medium.
Ferret's gonna cast Frostbite on it. It needs to do a 14 con save.
A con save?
Yes.
Just about passes.
Does it still poison?
It's not an ability check, it's a save.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right. So it's gonna like move up to the edge of her entanglement. It says like yell profanities at the ant. That is her turn.
Now that it's seen where the damage is coming from, you hear that familiar buzz, buzz as its wings start to go. And it darts over here.
Yeah. Wait, did it go past me?
It would have clipped past you, yes.
Takes a bite out of it.
Okay, roll to hit.
I'm only gonna do 1 damage.
I might add that to the character. Just a standard bite. Misses, unfortunately. It flew just a little bit too high for you. It darts over at Maritha. Fucking hell. And then flies in with its talons. Whoo!
Ah! Why does it have plus 13? Oh, still.
Maritha takes... So it takes a nice chunk of damage from Maritha. Not too much, not too little. Yeah. It is then Maritha's turn. With it now being in front of her. She is going to cast Erupting Earth 10 feet away from her. It has to make another dexterity save.
Fail. Yippee!
It fail.
Oh, Jesus! That's 56 damage!
It takes 56 damage. It was already, like, worn down from what looks like fighting other creatures. Its parts of its hide have start falling off. A couple of its wings. This is where you hear Maritha shout. Maritha shout over. Run now. This way. As she darts slightly further into the tree line, hoping it can't reach her anymore. You are now up.
I have small legs! I have small legs!
Remember, you were made bigger.
That doesn't...
Dash action should get you into the tree line.
One.
Diagonal works as well, by the way.
Yeah. 5. I think that...
It's clawing, it's hissing at the trees, trying to scratch its way through, but it can't. It's too big to get through the trees to get to a smaller creature. On her turn, Maritha shouts, "Jump!" She throws her hands forward, and you see the trees in front of her almost open into a doorway. And you see the clearing in where you once, where she brought you to life, where she gave you the powers that you now have. She yells, "Jump!" and she disappears into the tree herself.
Oh!
Do you follow? Do you stay?
He kills and follows Garrett as well.
You're back in the clearing.
I'm back to being tiny!
You're back in the clearing, both panting, massive spells exhausted. Maritha says, "Sleep now, child. Tomorrow is a big day." In doing so, you go to sleep. You notice that she doesn't quite go to sleep. You wake the next morning.
Oh.
And it looks like she spent a good part of the night either with her staff or using mold earth to carve this massive circle. A circle that at this moment in time is dull. It's just runes in the dirt. In 3 points of this circle, you see the bones harvested from the desert, the materials harvested from the kraken, and the chunks that fell off the bug. She comes over to you and states, she comes over to you. "Are you ready, my child? It's time to create a new way. A way to defend this land."
Yippee.
She places you in the very center of the circle and steps outside.
Oh.
She asks you once more, "Are you ready?"
I'm ready! I'm hungry!
She closes her eyes,
Tiny.
grips her staff with both hands, slams it into the floor, and starts chanting. Being new to the craft, You don't quite know every word, but you pick up a few, except this offering. Create this circle. Energy starts pulsing from her staff around the circle. From her, it pulses out in that green natural energy that you saw when she first awoke you. Poof, poof. As it hits each chunk of creature, the energy corrupts. The colour starts turning deeper and deeper for each chunk of creature it hits. This is once the circle is lit and all chunks of creature are glowing, the energy pulses inwards at you. You may now select your circle.
Circle of the Titan. Circle of the Titan.
After about an hour, the ritual ends. After about an hour, the ritual ends. And you stand there, feeling invigorated, stronger, like you could tear down a building if you wanted. She rips you can carving dirt. She kind of collapses to the floor. Well, it shouldn't be.
Can I make myself big?
Not just yet. We'll save it for a minute. She's kind of collapsed on her knees, holding her staff. Expend. It is done, little one. Now tomorrow we go to war.
Tiny.
Sorry, it is done, Tiny. And she kind of falls over, unconscious.
Tiny sleeps on her head.
She wakes the next day, not entirely rested, but she's there. She looks at you and goes, "Are you ready?" She takes you to the outskirts. You start walking. You leave. Roll me a wisdom check. Or a history check. One of the two.
Or history. Where am I screen? What can I not do? Wisdom is probably just gonna be better. Let me just do a straight wisdom. 14.
You just about make out that the path she's walking is the path that you walked into the forest. You see yourself go past your old home. You see yourself approaching the city to which the mansion sat on the outskirts of. She takes you off her shoulder, places you on the floor. Now, Tiny, embrace your new power. Let's avenge the land.
Tiny become large.
Tiny become large.
1 second.
What form do you take? Insect, Leviathan, or Behemoth?
I'm gonna do Behemoth. I will roll my d4. Tiny has multiple heads.
Your size starts to swell, getting bigger and bigger until you start feeling stranger energies. Poof, out one side of your neck, another head. Poof, out the other side, another head.
Oh hello. Oh hello. I gain temp HP 4 times your
So you gain 12 HP.
Well, yummy. We learned.
Now with your 3 heads, you start tearing down the city walls. She starts casting spells, blowing things up herself.
Wait, when I've got a thing I want to do. When we get to the city gate, Tiny gets out like it's on all fours, and her head's like lean all together, and they do incandescent breath.
Okay.
On the gate.
What does this do?
So it's a level. I do a level 1 or more plus spell slot for dexterity saving throw. It's a gate. It automatically fails. On a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long attack, which does 2d10 radiant damage per level, and because it's a object, I do double damage.
Cool. So you completely obliterate the gate. However, this isn't this is the inner gate. So you've already sorted tearing your way through the first layer of town to the inner wall. You obliterate the inner gate. So you said 60 foot, right?
Yes, in a straight line. 5 foot wide.
I've just realised I think this is too tall. Yeah, I've made you huge on that one. It's disappointing. 60 foot, yeah?
Yes. Straight line, 6 foot, 5 foot wide.
You know, you took out
Destruction beam.
So, as you burst through this gate with this iridescent beam,
Kaiju Ferret!
These 3 dead. You take out several of the guards. All the guards were amassing on the inner circle, waiting.
Also, that house, part of the house is just fucking gone.
To speed this up, we won't go into full combat. We will just do a few. So they were all waiting as you started to tear through the town. The guards started amassing at the inner gate. You took out several of them with your iridescent breath. The rest of them scattered up onto the roofs into the streets along the side, watching you tear through, taking pot shots at you as you tear through. You unfortunately lose your temporary hit points to these pot shots, but it's at that point that something behind you catches your attention, and you look back towards the forest. You look down at Maritha. Maritha has started to wild shape, so she went to take the form of a bear just to start tearing through people. But as you look over towards the forest, that deep, corrupted green glow flashes as she takes on as this bear starts to take on a more insectoid form.
He's also become Widow Titan.
The spell that was meant to only forged you into this circle corrupted her. It sought out her
bigger than me.
vengeance. She's a level 13.
That is you.
Roll me that d4 and tell me what insect features she gets.
She's huge. 3. So that is a chitinous horn.
So this bear starts growing. You see fur molt in places to become like exoskeleton shell. She doesn't acquire wings, but small ones start to. You can see small ones start to form. But the main feature that comes as she grows in size is a horn off the front of her head.
Jesus.
What is your alignment?
Chaotic. Good.
You see the people around you. You see her just tearing through guard after guard after guard after guard after guard. You have a choice now. You can stay on this warpath with her, or you can fight her.
The reason I chose chaotic good is because technically this could be seen as a good action in the sense of in your own personal goodness. These people have been destroying nature and the world, and you need to put that right. But also, this could also be construed as mass murdering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fight Marissa. But also, does Marissa like respond to me talking to her at all?
The spell that created your circle seems to have overwhelmed her. At this point, all form of human speech seems to be gone. She is guttural growls mixed in with like chirping of bugs. It's quite a, I guess the word is horrific thing to hear.
It's not been like awake for so long and not
You start to see arrows and spears flying at her. What do you want to do? You can also just turn and run.
I don't want to leave River. Ferret like jumps on River's back and starts like batting the arrows away.
So you're taking her side?
Yeah.
Roll me 3 dex checks for batting these arrows and spears.
Doesn't auto do this. But my dex is now my wisdom, so I might as well just do wisdom check.
Yep.
Bah. That's 25. It's only a 10. And that is tying.
Arrow after arrow.
What is it?
Each arrow after arrow, each head just goes crunch, crunch, crunch. Snapping them in your mouth. Maritha lets out cacophonous blasts in all directions, just wiping out guards, trashing the buildings as you move.
Forever.
After several hours, you're almost through what level of guards the town could send.
I can't maintain this for a while.
After the hour, you back into your form, but for some reason, hers.
It's not even an hour. I could only maintain this form for 30 minutes.
Well, approaching an hour after your form just goes, but hers for some reason keeps going. What do you do now? You are technically no longer able to help.
Tidy's like grips onto like her, like tries to go there and onto her head. Is like forever, forever. Just like bonking at her head. What?
Make me an acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. Now I can't. No. That's 11.
You manage to land on the roof over here, but the only things going through her head are destruction. The spell she meant to empower you corrupted her entirely. This beast form shows no sign of stopping. She is tearing her way. She is at the center of the town within an hour. Every time you try to approach, all you hear is this bug, this chittering growl.
I attempt to cast entangle. Not gonna work, but good try.
What's the DC?
14.
And it's a Dex one? Strength one. She succeeds.
Even without
She
is still difficult terrain, but she can just fly over it.
She just bounces out. She can't quite fly, but she just bounces out of it and keeps tearing through. At this point, she's not caring whether it's civilian, whether it's guard. She's just destroying this village, this city that destroyed the forest.
You've done enough. Please. Please.
Every time you approach, she just...
does the best, like, get in front of her for...
Can you... What's the roll for that attack?
What attack?
The effective hyper beam? Or whatever the equivalent is for the bug?
She cannot do that, because the bug one is the heal.
Ah.
The bug is energizing pollen.
Her bare form just keeps snapping and snarling. She charges with the horn. You'll roll this.
Vendy's for her level is 3d8 plus wisdom, and she can make 2 of them. And her dex and strength are based on her wisdom modifier. Tiny's making like a valiant dad.
She just ignores you. She literally horn sweep into the floor, flicks you out the way.
Damn, even nearly killing Tiny doesn't.
At this point, I would say that Tiny would probably run.
Tiny limps away, like
more than likely
flying.
You flee back to your original home. You
Oliver.
you manage to get back to the mansion that the old lady lived in. She isn't home. Evidence shows that she was in town. Now,
Jesus.
but you do notice the mansion has been spruced up a little bit with the money. You've been gone months.
Tiny passes out in front of, I'm assuming, a not active fireplace.
That is more than likely where we'll end it.
Yeah.
Um,
In a few hours.
you pass out.
That's like,
As you come round the next day, the old woman hasn't returned. You make your way round, releasing the shackles on the various animals. I will decide what these animals are at a future date, in case you ever want to play a different animal. You at least know there's a parrot.
yeah. Something we should do for next time is just get the stats of the creatures into my extras.
Yeah, I will try and work on something like that.
There's no rush, but it's just to stop me having to go back to the options.
Right. Let's.
That was good.
Yeah, it was fun.